this is where I think Labor government's sort of got things the wrong way around. There's all these kerfuffle at the moment is Albanese can't get a meeting with Trump. Will he get a meeting with Trump? What if he does get a meeting with Trump? What's he going to say if Trump says, why aren't you spending more on defense? Why do you have the Middle East or Israel policy that you have? Albanese won't have an answer. So the point I'm trying to make is it's not about better diplomacy or, Kevin Rudd pushing harder to organise a meeting for Albanese and Trump. It's that the Australian policies that we have right now are not the ones that are either going to be agreed to by the United States or, in my view, ones that actually help the world solve some of the problems that other countries are assisting with. So for Australia, it's our foreign policy has become very performative. We judge ourselves on did we get a head of government meeting with the Americans? How many meetings with the Chinese have we had? It's performative because it's all about the appearance of competence and doing what it is we're meant to do without thinking about what is the outcome that we need to get to. And as a country, what sort of resources and policies do we need to get to that outcome?
I agree. I deeply and profoundly agree. For every reason, including the fact that I'm now a father and a grandfather, I want this country to be like the one that gave me so many opportunities and let me live in peace and security and not wondering whether or not I'd be safe tomorrow. And now it's as though we want to curl up into a little ball and pretend that the real world's not out there in defiance of everything our forebears have done for us, but in a way that, frankly, I think is making me feel distinctly less safe.
Well, the world as we knew it for the last 4 or 5 decades is unraveling.
Yep.
And one of the false assessments, I think, that many in this government, but also many of our intellectual elite make, one of the false assessments is that the world is unraveling because of Donald Trump.
Yeah.
No, it's not. Donald Trump is responding to some of the problems for the United States caused by the unraveling system that we've had over the last 40 or 50 years. Now, Trump doesn't have all the answers, but the point is, if you're an Australian government, the Australian Prime Minister, your duty is to think about how to proactively position Australia, how to proactively utilise the relationships and alliances we have to do the best for ourselves in this world and to create or at least change structures in the world that are going to be better for Australian interests. The current government doesn't do that. The current government just wants to manage each bilateral relationship. So the Chinese will stabilise things, but we won't really confront the differences that we have, which is substantial. With the Americans, we will do the minimum that Trump demands that we do.
But we're not doing the minimum.
Well, that we're trying to get away with it. That's the point. I mean, I have a sneaking suspicion, actually, Albanese is probably not that keen to meet Trump because he doesn't really want the president saying you must spend at least 3% of GDP. The current government would rather be in a passive crouch position and hope all this passes by and Australia continues on its happy way. But the world doesn't really work like that. And I don't think Australians or this government can imagine a situation where things actually get bad for us. But, the course of international politics, human history is not always a sort of happily upward, harmonious one. And I just don't think as a country, as a government, we're thinking about these sorts of things.